What up, everybody? Back with another video. It's your boy, the Sports Historian. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded full-length videos here on the channel, but life be lifing. I try to keep y'all up with shorts, so I appreciate the support always as we try to work on getting this channel towards its first 100 subscribers. Also, in addition to our regular videos I have planned for this year are to do sports video game retrospectives where I play classic sports games and we chat it up, talk about it, share memories, all that good stuff. Speaking of which, today's video is a study in what happens when one minor detail at the time leads to a downfall of epic proportions in a genre. And we're gonna check that out courtesy of my man Soft Drink TV. Shout out to Noah. He's got a great channel where he does sports video game retrospectives, live streams the GOAT of football, NFL 2K5 all the time. And if you've ever watched this channel, you'll hear him reference that game a ton. I love that game on an aside. It is the greatest football video game ever made and just one of the greatest video games ever made. But today we're going to be talking about the game that killed NBA 2K. Now, I wonder which one he's talking about here because where do you start? Well, you actually start with one that's kind of personal to me. So today we're going to talk about NBA 2K13. It's one of my favorites, but let's see what he's got to say about it. Like, comment, subscribe on both of these channels. Let's get it.
By all means, NBA 2K13 was a great NBA game. The NBA 2K series was peaking around this time, as the iconic NBA 2K11 had just released 2 years before, which is a 2K many call the greatest in the series' history, and with the impending jump to the next generation of consoles lurking, there were still great NBA 2K titles on the near horizon. I made a similar video on Madden NFL 13 being the game that killed Madden, but that was a different story. One where EA removed everything from the game that made it worth playing, setting up the series for future failures. NBA 2K13 didn't remove depth from previous releases, but it did commit a different sin altogether. One that wouldn't immediately be that noticeable, but as years would go on, it would become the dominant talking point surrounding this series. This was the game where 2K added virtual currency.
Yep, there it is. Good old VC. Damn, man. You know, no one made a big a deal about that as we all have to this day with microtransactions, but damn, he's right. And I love this 2K. He ain't wrong though.
AKA VC. You could now pay to level up your My Player faster in My Career, which was previously not possible. You had to grind in-game, but the grind was at least fair. The implementation of paying for upgrades in NBA 2K's career mode, of introducing microtransactions to a fully priced basketball video game, would go on to change everything about the future of the series and sports gaming as a whole. In a way, this was a major step towards 2K becoming what it is today, and the decision to add virtual currency made the company and its publisher, Take-Two Interactive, a lot more money. So much money that sports games would never be the same again. This is how digital products get worse. They start out fantastic because they have to be, to beat out the competition and build that initial customer base.
And hey, shout out to NBA Live 10. I own that game on PS3, and it genuinely is a good NBA Live game. And it was like the last really good one up until probably, well, the most recent one, NBA Live 19.
Then they start testing ways to increase profits further. At first, it seems relatively fine. There's an ad here or a microtransaction there, but this is where the seed is planted. Next, they go too far. They get backlash, bad PR, and it seems, for a brief moment, like the consumers win, and the product is going to revert back to the initial standard it set back when it first built up its consumer base. Maybe this buys a year, maybe two, but eventually, the company once again pushes the envelope of what they can get away with, and people get tired of the same old news.
Yep.
Sure, NBA 2K18, for example, was getting terrible PR constantly, but it still sold great. And when 2K started getting even more predatory in future releases, it almost became background noise. The outrage wasn't as strong. Everyone knows NBA 2K is a soulless corporate product, and they've become numb to it, and buy it anyways because what else are you going to play on your PS5? Before you know it, that initial warning sign, that seed, ends up defining the product. and you sit back and realize they got away with it. NBA 2K13 is still a great game, and I'll go over its impressive depth, gameplay, and presentation in this video too, but man, this really was the game that eventually killed NBA 2K.
You know how unfortunate that is to hear, because it's true. And at the time, nobody thought anything of it. Like, oh, you know what? Cool. Like, if I don't want to grind to build up my player, I'll put some money down. I'll buy some VC. Boy, if we only knew what was going to come of it. But again, this is not taken away from how amazing this game in particular is. And I can't wait to see what he's got to say about it.
When you simply navigate the menus in this game, you're greeted with eye candy everywhere. It looks a bit overdone, but I like the effort. It feels vastly different from the minimalist vibe you see in sports games today. You can credit Jay-Z for the menu design and visual elements, as well as the soundtrack. It was also his idea to include the '92 and 2012 USA Olympic basketball teams in the game, which even features Charles Barkley, which is a rare sight in video games. NBA 2K12 was one of the best 2K games ever made, capitalizing on 2K11's immense hype with a game that was arguably even better. So for 2K13...
Yeah, 2K12 had the NBA's greatest mode, which essentially was the prelude to My Eras, which I wish every AAA sports game had. Man, the magic you could make if MLB The Show had My Eras. Or Madden, well, yeah, I don't trust them with that. But EA Sports NHL, or man, could you imagine college football, EA College Football, My Eras, that type of energy, being able to put maybe like the 2024 or 2023 Michigan national title team against the '01 Hurricanes, or stuff like that.
There wasn't much of a need to reinvent the wheel. Gameplay is similar to 12, although it has its own unique feel to it. These older 2Ks all played differently, teetering between arcade and sim gameplay, and the end result was a fresh game each year. I wish modern sports games retained this difference in feel between releases, as it feels a lot less noticeable today. Signature skills were added this year, which was an early version of the badge system. This gave players unique abilities beyond their regular attributes, and built the foundation for peak 2K with games like 2K16. These skills changed everything, and made players resemble their NBA counterparts better than ever before.
It also made guys like Steve Novak broke as fuck in that game. Man, it was like a 53 overall, but boy, his range, his three-point shot was nonsense.
2K13's gameplay AI was ahead of its time. It feels as good as it possibly could be on the hardware available at that time. Since offline play was still the priority, CPU AI had to be good and a noticeable improvement from the year before, as most of the game's player base would be experiencing games against this CPU. Your offensive teammates play with smart spacing and decision making, and defensive logic is sound. New controls were mapped to the right stick for dribble moves, crossovers, spins, and more, which gives the game a more modernized feel today compared to say 2K12 or 11. There isn't a massive flaw or issue with the gameplay either, it's well done. The biggest change from 2K12 to 2K13 overall was the reintroduction of My Career as we know it today. NBA 2K12 had a career mode, as did 2K11 and 2K10, but this mode was just called My Player, and it lacked the narrative storyline or the pay-to-win mechanics, and was instead a simple but fun and in-depth career mode. 2K13 renamed My Player to My Career, and added a ton of role-playing elements that made the mode feel more like an immersive story rather than a collection of games on a schedule. At the time, these additions were well received. The mode was seemingly evolving, modernizing, taking that next step. You could now sign brand endorsements, wear flashy clothing, meet with your coaches and staff, and even cause some noise on social media all the way back in 2012. This expansion of the career mode was great, except for the fact that progression was now tied to virtual currency.
Yeah, that does suck. So if you play this game today, obviously you can't take advantage of any of this right here. Now, what that does, hopefully that leads into in this video is them discussing what is my favorite game mode.
Earned in-game by just playing, but also something you could spend real money on. But clothing was also tied to VC. If you wanted a new outfit, you needed to grind for it, or you could just drop a few dollars. And if 2K left this as it was in 2K13 forever, I don't think anyone would really care that much, but this planted the seed, a seed that would grow. On the next generation, my career would evolve even further, jumping online and introducing the park. And this evolution of the mode started to become a de-evolution after. What started out as a fun role-playing career mode became a pay-to-win online street ball mode with some cheesy cutscenes as an optional bonus. Virtual currency made sense at first. You could earn it by just playing the game at a fair rate and only pay if you wanted an absurd amount of VC to play with. But when the game got more online and social, and your outfit, your abilities, your badges, your animations, your house, everything became tied to VC. 2K started making so much money that the online aspects of my career became the new #1 priority for NBA 2K. This was their metaverse, where FOMO works at its best. And because it's a sports game, there's a new one every single year. So you get to keep buying VC every year for eternity. Turning the career mode of a basketball video game into an online, pay-to-win role-playing universe was actually kind of genius, as much as I hate it. NBA 2K13 is just so strange. By all means, it's fantastic. Go pick it up. Play it today. But man, oh man, did it do some serious damage to sports gaming. A more positive new feature for 2K13 was the shoe creator.
Yeah, I like
this was when 2K
this.
was adding some crazy new addition each year, and the game still benefits today from these additions. I mean, come on. There isn't another sports game out there right now that lets you create and edit your player's equipment from scratch. Yet in 2012, 2K decided to add it to NBA 2K. Imagine if they kept that drive throughout 2K's development post 2K16. My team is present, although not playable today. The franchise mode, association mode, is surprisingly good. It's really not that different from My League or My NBA in later titles, and it's way snappier and quicker to simulate than in newer games too. The news, the NBA.com homepage, the rumor mill, CPU trade offers, the immense stat tracking, player roles, the RPG elements, all of these things add up to an excellent franchise mode experience running an NBA team. You really aren't missing out on much at all playing this over newer 2Ks if this is the mode you would play. To me, it feels like the most modern of the PS3 era titles when you account for the gameplay, presentation, and franchise mode. And it's so well tuned, it's so in depth, it's really just a great game. Presentation is peak 2K, with similar commentary to what you get in modern 2K games with Kevin Harlan and Clark Kellogg, as well as Steve Kerr before he became the Warriors head coach. The commentary...
Yeah, that's so crazy to go back and play this game and hear Steve Kerr doing, being a third man in a comment on an announced team before he took Mark Jackson's job as the Warriors head coach. That's wild.
actually sounds better here than in newer games. It's more focused. Maybe because the lines were more cohesive and didn't contain decades of audio? I wonder if modern sports games retaining commentary teams for too long ends up hurting the presentation when new lines are drowned out by the repetition of older recorded audio. The in-game banners and pop-ups for stats are great and useful, and the broadcast even has these fake ads between quarters during association mode for upcoming big games.
I love
like
that.
this Celtics and Suns matchup before it gets back to the main game. The graphics don't look that impressive today, I will say, especially when you consider how huge of a leap they take with 2K14, but for a PS3 and Xbox 360 game, 2K13 did look pretty solid for its time. Even back then, everyone was sweaty as hell, and the jersey fabrics have some nice movement to them. Star players having their signature animations make the game look lifelike at times. The soundtrack is phenomenal, as you'd expect with someone like Jay-Z producing. You get Kanye, Daft Punk, Coldplay, Nas, U2, and more. It's an awesome vibe. NBA 2K13 was a great game, and back in 2012, you would have had a great time playing it. Even today, it's a fantastic NBA sim. But 2K13 was also the true catalyst for the sudden end to NBA 2K's legacy run. No matter how much backlash 2K gets for their monetization practices, the series is still a huge success financially regardless, and it's arguably the most successful sports gaming franchise in North America. But no one really respects 2K anymore. No one is calling 2K26 a masterpiece, nor is anyone claiming that 2K is setting a new standard across gaming. But 10 to 15 years ago, you could make those arguments. 2K was on that level. Financial success is one thing, but soul is another. After this last decade, deep down, no matter how well these games sell, we all know NBA 2K is dead. That's why we want to see NBA Live come back. And NBA 2K13 is what ultimately killed it. Thanks for watching.
And unfortunately, he's right about a lot of things, and he didn't mention, unfortunately, my favorite game mode in 2K13, which is the NBA Create a Legend feature. It's basically my career without all the features, but you can play with any player in the game, and you could take any player from a classic team, put them on an existing NBA team, and drop them right into the 2012-13 NBA world set in that game. So you could take 01 76ers Allen Iverson and then put him on, on any team. So say you put him on, I don't know, the Jazz or something, and they're playing with, like a young Gordon Hayward or Al Jefferson or what have you. You can do that. Or you could take a guy who busted in the NBA and try to resurrect their career, or someone whose career was shortened by injuries like Derrick Rose, or try to continue with Jeremy Lin to make not just Linsanity a fad, but possibly make Jeremy Lin a Hall of Famer. You could do that with anybody. My go-to is always to try to make Jimmer Fredette and bring Jimmer Mania to the NBA, and also make the Sacramento Kings the 2012-13 win an NBA title. But hey, great vid. That was from Soft Drink TV. That's going to get a like from me. Already subscribed. Make sure I hit the bell so I'm always getting notified of his stuff. And you should do the same for his channel and this one. I really, really appreciate the support, guys. We're gonna grind and get to that first 100 subs here on this channel. We're gonna be doing more lives here where we play retro video games, where we watch classic sports programming, talk about stuff going on today, in the past, and tomorrow, right here on the Sports Historian. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.